What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Entrepreneur on Campus podcast. Let's go. My name is Matthew Brown. I'm a student, I'm an entrepreneur, and I love learning. I've created this podcast to help you discover hidden opportunities. This interview is with Dan McCormick. Dan McCormick has done a lot of work in different areas and fields, and I was able to meet him through a class at the school that I go to. He came in as a guest speaker, and I connected with him and was able to align a call with him, even though he's living in California, and I'm in Utah right now. So I'll tell you a little bit about Dan McCormick. He's a highly successful entrepreneur, author, and radio show host. His mission is to inspire individuals to align their lives with purpose, responsibility, vision, and principles of greatness. This vision, along with his passion for helping others achieve success, has enabled him to build several multi-million-dollar businesses. Dan has spent the last 30-plus years building thriving businesses and speaking around the world in nutrition, skincare, and the anti-aging industry. Dan and his wife reside in Orange County and have 4 married daughters and 5 adorable grandchildren. Dan is very active and loves yoga, golf, and fitness in general. In this interview, I was able to talk to Dan about franchising. He created a little restaurant franchise and sold off a lot of franchisees. And he's also been involved with network marketing, and so we discussed that a little bit, and also a little bit about personal development. So this interview is maybe a little bit different than other ones I've done, but I hope that it can also provide some value, that you'll be able to understand a little bit better how some of those industries work, and that you can find some value from this interview. So here it is with Dan McCormick. Awesome. Today I'm here with Dan McCormick. Super excited to be here. Thanks for being here with me today, Dan.
Awesome. Fun time. Appreciate you inviting me.
Yeah, so I've had the pleasure of researching you a little bit. Was able to watch an interview that you did on your Facebook with my uncle, actually. So that was fun. And anyway, I would love to dive into kind of your experience and how you've been an entrepreneur and your career path. So can you go ahead and just tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I grew up inside of a fitness center in 1975. I started at the Seattle Supersonics Racket and Health Club. And what was intriguing to me, being raised in a single parent home in Kirkland, Washington, Redmond, Washington, I didn't have a great appetite for learning. But when I worked in that club, what I saw and who I conversed with every day was people that had more money than we had, because they could afford to be members at a private club where it was $20 an hour and play tennis just to rent a court. And so after being there and meeting people that were in sales, pilots, entrepreneurs, professional athletes, every walk of life, they were members there. And I just remember developing this passion that I wanted to make enough money so that my kids didn't have an absentee father, which is the way I grew up. And so I was exposed to that entrepreneur mentality. I also was a cougar, but it was a Washington State cougar after I finished high school. I went to Washington State University, and I finished college there in just 2 weeks' time. I like to tell people that, dropping out doesn't sound nearly as much fun as finishing. So I call it being finished, and I went back to building tennis courts, which I was a laborer. And so they were the entrepreneurs. My boss, I had 2 bosses, they were partners. They were the best tennis players in the Northwest. And they built tennis courts all over, and I learned how to work. And that was really a remarkable place for me, because when you're working at $5 an hour and you're building tennis courts, and you come home the color of it, like I'd come home the color of my shirt today, as a matter of fact, because courts are green on green, green on red, blue on beige, etc. And I would come home literally just covered in the acrylic and the oils that you built those courts on. But those guys taught me how to work, and they loved work. And so I learned to love work. And no one ever taught me that before. I didn't know how to love work. And so that's a little bit about how it started for me. And I guess if there was a transition point, it was when there was a little ad in the newspaper, and it's when I learned about direct selling. I was finished with college. My friends were all at college, talking it up about, hey, everyone has to go to college. You have to have a degree. You got to go to school if you're going to be successful. And, I wasn't sure about that. I just knew that I liked people more than I liked school.
Mm-hmm.
And so I answered this ad in the newspaper, and lo and behold, it was the foundation for my education. My education was self-help. All of the books that are behind me, I devour those books. This morning, I'm in there at 5:30 in the morning. I'm writing in my journal. I'm studying words. I'm studying doctrinal concepts and principles. And my wife and I found ourselves at the right place at the right time. We passed our first $1 million in income while I was 22 years of age. And I only tell you that story because we were just right at the right place at the right time. And it's always helpful when you marry up. And I married up in a big way.
Wow, that's awesome. So at age 22, you made your first $1 million, and that was doing what exactly?
So it was the direct selling world. My wife was the first distributor while she finished at BYU Cougar. I was a Washington State Cougar. We met in Seattle. She's from Canada. She was with a little company then from Los Angeles that was a weight loss company called Herbalife. She was the first distributor for Herbalife in Canada. And lo and behold, they went on to become a mega $1 billion success story.
Wow.
And about 16 years ago, I joined Nu Skin, which is right there in your backyard. And, I run into people all the time and they say, oh, you must have been one of the first ones. It doesn't matter about being the first one. It matters about catching a wave. And the one thing that I've learned about business is it never matters about being the first one. What matters is what's the product cycle? And is the entrepreneurial spirit always alive? Is there people today on campus that would like to make $100? I can show people how to make $100 with no effort today. I mean, literally in an instant, because social media allows people to do something. As a matter of fact, I just had a lady who's my neighbor here in Costa de Casa, California, and she posted on Facebook, she made $500 today on one post we have people that live on campus there that pay for their mortgage, their dorm room or their mortgage payment in just a post or two of learning how to sell stuff online. So the world is always open to the entrepreneurial spirit. There's always products, there's always demand, and you just got to find your niche. My niche is people. I love people. I'm always looking for people that are like-minded, that love other people. And when you can train and lead other people, there's always opportunity.
Yeah, awesome. I love that. So to pick this apart a little bit more, you said your wife was at a company called Herbalife. So what was she doing there? And then also what were you doing at Nu Skin? As you said, a distributor. So I understand the model a little bit. Can you explain that model? And
that's a question. That's a really great question. So the world of direct selling is products that are manufactured and not sold in stores. Direct selling is a model that takes products in your community. You might be familiar with doTERRA. You might be familiar with, Nu Skin. You got several, Nature Sunshine or Zingular or several other big companies up there, all friends of mine that are millionaires in those companies. It's just fascinating. So you are an independent contractor. You set your own hours and you buy the product from the company at a wholesale price. So for example, my wife was weight loss. When she started, she lost 18 pounds after gaining the weight while she was eating all that healthy dorm food for 4 years while at BYU. She lost 18 pounds 35, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was. And lo and behold, her family and friends wanted that product. And we started selling that product all across Canada and all across the world. So there's two things that the direct selling world people do. And I love this. This is a great question. If you want leverage in your life, you can own a large building and lease it out, but you need a lot of capital to buy that building. If you got all that, buy that building, and you're right on your financial model, and you lease it out to the right tenants, you can make money. I make money by leveraging people that sell my products. And so literally I'm in New Skin, and our product catalog ranges from whitening toothpaste, literally $20 for whitening. I pay 10. So if I buy it for 10 and sell it for 20, that's a social media phenomenon right there. So whether it's our Instaglow product for whitening, for tanning, or it's a device for skin, or it's energy. I just drank one of my energy products. Oh yeah, here it is right here. So I have a little energy product that's a natural source of caffeine that comes from the green coffee fruit. A fruit, not the coffee bean. So whatever you do, it's people. So imagine this. Here you and I are right now. Over here, let me just show you my other computer setup here so you can see what I look at every day.
Cool.
I got your questions over here. I'll take my iPad and just give you a little glimpse. I have 4 other monitors over here, okay, if I don't mess this up. So I got your questions. I'm looking at you on Facebook. I'm looking at the stock market. I'm looking at Twitter. Okay, I got it all going on. All right.
That's cool. Yeah.
I like it. It is really cool. So here's a lady. This is a real true story. I got a lady that just, we were texting on Facebook a moment ago, and her name is Stephanie. And I want you to just take a look at this. This is how fascinating the world of social media. This lady was a professional golfer. She's from Austria. Okay. Let's see if you can get a picture of Stephanie there.
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
She is stunning. Okay. Her husband, stunning. They live in Austria. They did over $1 million in sales last month.
Wow. In a month.
In Austria. Now, I don't know her except through the people that I sponsored that sponsored people in Atlanta. And the people that sponsor her make 5% of her volume. Mm-hmm. So if you sponsored her, you probably made $50,000 last month. Mm-hmm. That's leveraging people's efforts. And that's, in a sense, my shopping center. So awesome. I have thousands and thousands of people around the globe in 50 some odd countries that sell my product. So hopefully I explain it. So there's 2 things that I do. I sell my product and I recruit other people to sell my product.
Awesome. And so you're not the developer of the product. You purchase the product and you resell it, and you get people who resell it essentially.
So we have 80 scientists, whether they're making my energy product or they're making my toothpaste or they're making a facial, eye serum product, whatever. All I do is buy it at wholesale, sell it at retail, or recruit other people to buy it at wholesale, and I make a percentage off what they sell.
Awesome. Great. Yeah. So I understand the model pretty well. I also know that just in general, people are they seem very cautious whenever you hear the word MLM or you hear direct sales or network marketing. Can you talk about that stigma a little bit? Maybe some of the reasons why that exists, and maybe some of the reasons why it's not like that as well?
It exists exact same reason why this has a stigma, why Bitcoin had a stigma, is people look to get something for nothing. And, there's this guy named Stephen Covey, you might know. Okay. And he has this phrase, no margin, no mission. Now, if you have a marginable product that you buy for $10 and sell for 20, and everyone in the world brushes their teeth, that's an amazing business. Mm-hmm. Right? But if I sell something that, let's say I buy this product for $90 and I sell it for $100, it's a 10% margin. It's way different. So the mission and the energy for me might be different if people aren't going to spend $100 for an eye serum. Okay. I'm just giving you an example. So I think that when you have people that have a misconstrued perception of what it's supposed to be, then it gets blown out of proportion. I don't know anything on how to make money for free or easy. This is hard work. This is numbers. And you know what it takes in my life? One new person a year that wants to do what I do as bad as I want to do it. One new person a year. And I can have a residual income in the hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars and lifetime residual income that is just fantastic. So I think it's perception.
Yeah. Awesome.
You don't get free. It's real work. I would never tell anybody it's easy, because there's nothing easy about being in the people business. There's nothing easy about someone going door to door for 2 years on a mission. There's nothing easy about being a door-to-door salesman. There's nothing easy about being in real estate. Just look at real estate in 2008 and 9 in Utah.
Yeah.
How tough you can get stuck with large sums of money. So I just think that in general, you find your passion and you just wake up to that opportunity clock every morning.
Yeah. Awesome. So it sounds like you were able to find success at a relatively young age with New Skin and your wife as well. What were the factors that led to success, especially in this kind of industry of network marketing and direct sales? And yeah, I'd like to hear that.
So first thing was right place, right time.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the history of stock market analysis, you have what they call bull markets, which is when things are growing very fast, and you have bear markets when things are contracting. The world of opportunity is, can you ever imagine a time when people don't want to look better, have whiter teeth? We
Right.
live in the Instagram generation. I mean, this is everybody's picture, their smile, their teeth, their body fat, their weight. They work out, they want to have muscles, they want to look good, they want the tan to look good. So we sell all those products. So you have to be able to recognize that I'm trying to play in a mega billion-dollar marketplace.
Yeah.
If I was in the business today of selling audio cassettes, I might not be doing too well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I just happen to have the 7 habits of highly effective people right. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did. So I'm curious, like, how did you go out selling the product immediately, or did you start by finding more distributors to work with? What was your kind of game plan and business model?
Definitely recruiting people.
Okay.
I want to recruit people. I want people on my team that have an entrepreneurial spirit. I want people on my team that want to show people how to live a profitable lifestyle, a lifestyle of time freedom, a lifestyle of working from their home, a lifestyle of being with their kids. I mean, that lady today that made $500 that lives a block or two from me, she's got kids and friends, and she's got a busy community, and she's got church work that she does for her church. And so you just look for what it is that lights you up. I have friends that are public speakers. Mm-hmm. And so here's the difference. I have a public speaking friend. He goes and gives a speech. He makes $1,000, $5,000, $10,000. He doesn't make any money until he does the next speech. Mm-hmm. What I like to think is, how do I have leverage in the life so that someone's going to buy my product every month? So I think that right now we just have to have the attitude that opportunity is for everybody, and it's always going to be there. And one of my mentors said, if you solve big problems, you get big paychecks. Yeah.
Awesome. So would you generally go person to person and contact your friends and family, or did you go through the internet and try marketing through there? What was your technique?
There was no internet when I started, so everything was a phone call. Everything was a dial-up phone on the wall, and we used to run ads in the newspaper, and we would teach people what the 3-foot rule is. Have you ever heard of the 3-foot rule?
I haven't.
So the 3-foot rule is just fantastic for everyone, whether you're in my business or not. And that is, just say hi to everybody. Mm-hmm. Just be in the moment of trying to make somebody else smile. Hi, how are you? Where are you from? What do you do? How long have you been doing it? Do you like what you do? Where do you live? Do you like where you live? How long have you lived there? Mm-hmm. I just like people. And what I look for, you see, the entrepreneurs are always born out of being dissatisfied with something. Whether you make the newest Away suitcase, it was born out of somebody traveling that didn't like their suitcase. You solve a problem, you get passionate about it. And so for me, I like to find people that look for opportunity. And if people are looking for opportunity and they like people and they like leverage, let's build a team. So that's my thing, is I want to recruit people, but I always sell my product because my product's amazing.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you were in the right place at the right time. So what if you had no experience whatsoever in the direct selling world, and today you got the opportunity to start again? Do you feel like you would still have that same opportunity of growth as you did when you first started?
So this morning, my word of study was desire. So desire is a motivating conviction that moves you to take action. If I started over again, without a doubt, if I had that desire, that burning desire, that every day, all day long, I'm talking to new people, I'm doing my webinars, my conference calls, because today it's Zoom, it's Facebook Live, and it's social media. Back when I started, yes, it was a contact list that you hand wrote down. on a yellow notepad. Yes, it was collecting every single business card you could collect and call. I used to have a friend of mine that literally would just go out for hours a day and collect business cards. And then he'd come home and call them back all week long, try to recruit them. And so the world has just changed. Whereas today, I don't have to recruit anybody. It's like my friend over in Austria right now who just pinged me. She had a picture of when she was in LA, and I said, "Hey, are you in LA?" And she said, "No, that was a memory." And I said, "Oh, okay." Because and then so she's got a picture of her demonstrating one of our products on Facebook with her 5,000 friends. And so that's how you get the message out today. No one's ever going to just, when you knock on a door, there's going to be rejection. When you make a phone call, there's going to be a rejection. You put a picture on Facebook, you either play or you don't. You either say, "Hey, I'm interested," or "I don't comment," or you unfriend them. So there's a different feeling today. But I will say this, I go to church every Sunday, and I believe that going to church every Sunday is like sharpening the saw, right? We know that sharpening the saw is a critical component to how we feel physically, mentally, spiritually. I believe that in business, you can only get so far online. You still need to sharpen this. You still need to be with people and have fun with people. Have training classes with people. And so it's a really critical thing. I always think recruiting, and I do that by trying to be a friend to everybody and ask the questions and find out, is there pain or is there opportunity for me to take the relationship further?
Gotcha. Awesome. Well, thank you for answering that. And before, I would like to talk about some of the other businesses that you've been involved in. But I did want to ask about, you know what? It just left my head. So I'm just going to go, if it comes back, I'll come back and mention it to you. But so I would like to know a little bit about, I know you've been involved with some restaurants, you started a franchise, and can you tell me about kind of the other companies you've been involved with as well?
Yeah. So that was really fun. It was an amazing time. It was 10 years ago when my wife and I, we have 4 daughters. 3 of them went to BYU Hawaii at some point. My oldest is going to school. She gets married over there, or she meets her husband there. And every time we went to Hawaii, we would go eat an acai bowl. The acai berry is extremely good for you because it has essential fat and all these antioxidants. And so if you haven't had an acai bowl, you mix this fruit with something and you put granola and honey on top. If you served a mission in Brazil, you might eat it with condensed milk on top and granola and honey or whatever. But so my kids, every time we went to Hawaii, we'd always go eat these acai bowls. So in 2010, we started our first bowl of heaven right here in Rancho Santa Margarita. Horrible economy. Rent was cheap. Product had good margin. Long story short, we did $700,000 in sales in our 3rd year. We were only open 6 days a week. And we had a fantastic experience. We brought in some professionals. I paid $100,000 for consulting fees because I didn't know anything about franchising. So we registered. It was $20,000 to do the franchise documentation paperwork. And we started selling franchises. We sold about 70 franchises. We started opening franchises. We started having success. At one time, we were on track to do 4, 5, 6 million one year. And then lo and behold, the state of California starts raising minimum wage from 7 to 8 to 9 to 10 to 11 to 12, up in San Francisco, 13, 14, and 15 is on the way. And then you started seeing competitors all come in. You started seeing food trucks come in. And it really became difficult to be, even though we made the best, healthiest organic acai bowls in the world. We have one in Provo, Utah called Bowl of Heaven. And Peter Vidmar, the Olympic gymnast, is my partner there. And so it was an amazing run. But I think in life, you have to know when to say when. And we just said about 2 years ago, the margin for the effort and the risk is not here. And so we kind of just said, we're not going to expand this model anymore. And we learned an amazing amount of things. But what's fun about it is people, because you get to serve something that's still, I think you went to my Bowl of Heaven in Provo, Utah.
Yeah, I mentioned that to you. I went a few days ago. It was super good.
It's just fun to be with people that want to eat healthy, that want something that's good for them. And it's just amazingly delicious beyond comprehension. It's so good for your antioxidants and all these things. But again, it came back to the no margin, no mission.
Yeah.
So if I got to put in Herculean hours, 10, 15 hours a day to make X versus putting in 8 hours a day to make X squared, right? You just have to finally figure out, where's your margin going to be?
Yeah. Okay. That's great. I would like to know just a little bit more about franchises. So you said that you grew this first restaurant that you had,
Yep.
and then when you franchise it, it took $20,000 in papers. And then when you sell a franchise, does somebody buy it for a flat fee, and then you get paid a commission off of their sales, or how does that work?
Correct. So we registered everything about being a franchise. You're a registered security in the state. In certain states, there's several states you have to register in. So in the state of California, the state of Wisconsin, different states, you have to register. So a franchisee gets interviewed by me, and I make a decision. And this was very, very hard to do. I interviewed my second franchisee. Wonderful couple. They loved our model. They loved our product. And lo and behold, they open a store. And she's pregnant. And the first day they open their store, they get Yelp reviews that they're smoking cigarettes in front of their store.
Ooh.
Now, when she was pregnant, she didn't smoke cigarettes because, we're interviewing them. It seemed like wonderful, nice people. They want to do a store. Long story short, I had to call them up and say, hey, look, you just spent a couple $100,000 to build your store. You paid a franchise fee to me of $30,000, and you're going to pay me royalties of 6% a month on your sales. And your first day, you're smoking in front of your store? What are you thinking? So that turned out to be a horrible relationship because I can't take responsibility for other people's actions.
Yeah.
That's one of my mantras, and I think Stephen Covey taught me this as well, that the height of maturity is taking full responsibility for yourself, right? And so sometimes you have great franchisees that understand that it's their responsibility. They're going to run their store, and you can't babysit every micro minute at every customer. But what was fun is that we had the Incredible Hulk come in that store. We had families of Michael Jackson's family come in that store. We had celebrities galore.
Wow.
Love Bowl of Heaven. Kobe Bryant comes into our Newport Beach store. Steve Nash comes in.
That's so cool.
We get David Archuleta coming into the Provo store. We've got all kinds of celebrities come into our stores, and we serve these amazingly healthy bowls.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, the food business, I just found to be a different business with margin, risk, and time. But that's not to say it can't be fantastic if you're going to be the next Domino's Pizza.
Right. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. I have several friends that are interested in, when they're older, just buying a franchise, growing it, and then kind of building their own little chain with multiple franchises. What would you say you've kind of mentioned some of the pros, is that you get a lot of connections with people. It's a fun environment. So what are some of maybe the surprises that people don't know when they're starting a franchise?
I think one of the huge surprises is just the variability of why one location will be terrific and one won't. It's just a real conundrum. Like, you would say that our first store in Rancho Santa Margarita, California, is a horrible location, according to the experts. Yet we were next to the post office, so everyone in Rancho Santa Margarita had to come there on April 15th. Certainly that's a big day.
Mm-hmm.
And we happened to have about 4 high schools that circle where we were. And so it was fantastic for schools and kids and workouts and athletic places. We just had an amazing location, but you'd never tell someone to go there. Now, my rent was really cheap here versus me going to a location, say in Los Angeles, that looks like this A location, but you're paying so much more. And the unknown factor is, are enough people going to come to validate why you pay that rent fee versus my fee? So I think that's one of the things. And I think another thing is, I go back to that word that I used early on, is just how passionate are you? You have to be the brand ambassador every single day. So yesterday I was handing out business cards for my bowl of heaven that I gave you guys at your class a few weeks ago. I was in the community at a chiropractor office. I was at a place that I work out, and I'm always handing out my business cards, trying to get more people to come, because a loyal customer in our chain can be worth a few $1,000s a year.
Wow. Yeah. So location is huge, and then really just acquiring loyal customers. Those are huge variables.
And never, ever taking that customer for granted. So absolutely aware that your brand is got to be marketed every single day. And just like my new skin business or my restaurant business, if you haven't heard how good my product is from me, you haven't heard it.
Awesome. I love it.
Even though you went into Bowl of Heaven, you didn't go into Bowl of Heaven with me going over that menu with you and saying, let me tell you, zinger. This red zinger is the bomb. Or that almond butter bowl you'll be full for 5 hours if you eat that almond butter bowl.
Yeah, you're the primary salesman. You believe in the message more than anyone.
Exactly. And that's going to be the case no matter what, right? For your podcast, you believe in your messaging and what you're bringing to your followers. It's critical.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So you've been involved with that. You've mentioned that you've also been involved with personal development. What's your experience with that?
Well, you see the books behind me. There was a point in time in my life when I would have never read a book. And then when I met my wife, I'll show you just 1 second here. This book, just for whatever, I mentioned it in your class, called Drawing Upon the Powers of Heaven. And I read this book, and it made sense doctrinally, and I was new to religion. It made sense from a personal development, from an accountability. And so readers are leaders. And I mean, everyone should have 2 books with them, one to read and one to write in. And so this morning at 5:30, I'm reading and I'm writing. I'm writing down my ideas about the word desire. Where does it come from? What's the origin of it? What are my desires? What do I really want? Who do I really want to be? What kind of contributions do I want to make? So all of these books, this is a book that I was just featured in, just came out last week, called The 4-Year Career. And so in this book, a friend of mine wrote, he featured 11 people in the world of direct selling. And lo and behold, yours truly is featured in the back here. And I write a little spiel for, what direct selling, network marketing people's lives are like. So I think you always need to be a reader. Another friend of mine up in Utah came out with a book in January, and I put him on my show called The Millionaire Training Circle. Big ideas. How do we get big ideas? Matter of fact, he knew Stephen Covey very well. Your uncle, right? Or no, your great-grandfather?
Stephen R. is my grandpa.
Right.
Yeah.
I love your question, because books to me, they're like my friends. And I just love my friends. I like hanging with my friends. But when I get to open one of my books, you
just get excited about it. Yeah. So
one recommendation to your audience for a book to read. The McCuskers are in your class. If you know the McCusker boys.
I didn't meet them, but yeah.
Told them that one of the best business books ever written just came out 2 years ago. And if you look at it on Amazon, you will see 5-star reviews in the thousands. And it is called Shoe Dog.
Mm-hmm.
The Story of Nike by Phil Knight. A must read for every entrepreneur. He literally woke up every morning for 18 years wondering if he was going to go broke.
Wow. Yeah, I've heard great things about that book. I haven't gotten around to reading it yet, but that's a great recommendation.
I want you to call me when you're done.
Because all right.
When you read that, it will open your eyes to the world of entrepreneurship at a level that there's no way I could. I mean, this guy's worth billions of dollars now, but it's quite fascinating. Interesting.
Okay. So as far as personal development, on the business level, you said you run a show called Millionaire Training Circle.
Yeah. Every Saturday I teach principles habits, and reference points. I want you to think about that for a minute. I think I talked about in your class what a principle is. PRIN is a strong channel, moving you, PLE is moving you forward. So every Saturday I do a show specifically for my new skin audience, but it's generic principles. And we teach principles, habits, and reference points. So we do it every single Saturday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. And I interview people, or I'll be teaching a principle. So the first Saturday of every month, I talk about the keys to consistency. I talk about on the second Saturday, the 3 things every distributor needs, every individual needs, every entrepreneur needs, every man, woman, and child needs. And then on the third Saturday, I talk about the art of recruiting and promotion. I want you to think about this for a minute. The wealthiest people always are people that master the art of recruiting and promotion. Like if you talk to Phil Knight, there's no one in the world that'd be more passionate about Nike, right? He's the founder. You talk to me about Bowl of Heaven, no one's gonna be more passionate. But you're always in promotion mode in a respectful way, not an obnoxious way. Like if somebody doesn't buy my new skin products, I don't care. I'm not offended in any way. And because it's just the numbers game, right? Like I personally don't like wearing Nikes anymore. I don't care what Phil Knight would say to me. I'd never buy Nikes. I just don't like them, right?
Yeah.
But I know that third Saturday of every month, I'm teaching my distributors that you have got to be a promoter. You are the brand ambassador. You are the face of your company every single day and every way. And then on the fourth Saturday, always talk about the greatest secret in the world. This is the book, The Greatest Secret in the World by Og Mandino. For those that don't follow golf, Rory McIlroy, number 3 player in the world right now, was trying to win the Grand Slam last week before Tiger got his next Grand Slam. And Rory was interviewed a week ago today, I think. And he was asked what was the best book he'd read this year. And he said, I think it was The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, which is the same as The Greatest Secret. It's just a journalized version. So if the greatest golfers in the world are benefiting from that, entrepreneurs do, personal development people do. So to answer your question, Millionaire Training Circle is a 4-week class that circles on Facebook Live every month.
Awesome. And is that for everybody that follows you on Facebook then? And
it's an open,
cool.
It's an open group.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure and include your Facebook page in the show notes of the podcast.
That'd be great. You'd love it, and you'll benefit. And every Saturday it's different. And like I interview authors, and like I interviewed Craig Case at the beginning of the year, the January 3rd, if you want to learn about big ideas by Craig Case. How do you get big ideas? How do you have aha moments? Where do these great ideas come from? He documents exactly how they come. On the first Saturday, if you can go back and watch videos, if you click on that Millionaire Training Circle page, you can go back to January 3rd, 4th, 5th and watch that show.
Cool. Awesome. Well, just to finish up the interview, just a couple last questions are, what you seem like a person that's very self-motivated. You get up early in the morning and you study books. I'm curious what your process on goal setting is.
So there's a word that I fell in love with, and the word is consistency.
It's the hardest thing in the world.
It's the hardest thing in the world. So when I heard that your grandfather was a 5:30 in the morning guy, and by the way, I have the Covey books are in the middle. So I have Og Mandino, Covey, and the Napoleon Hill, just so you can see that shelf. And this shelf here is all Sterling W. Sill. And then back in the corner, I have financial books, journals, church books, etc. And then I have other places. But I think that we all have cycles in our life for what our needs are, and different ages. Like your age, you might be more hungry to take a risk that I wouldn't. But my principles for goal setting are that I'm going to be consistently trying to get better. And every single day, there's a book that everything comes from a book. There's no original idea. So let me grab this one here. Hang on. I think I have it right here. Sorry, where is it? I got so many. Oh, here it is. All right. One of my favorite books ever. This is a doozy.
You got a lot of favorite books.
It's simply called The Prayer of Jabez. So in the Old Testament, here's just 2 verses. This guy wrote an entire book called The Prayer of Jabez. What Jabez tries to do every day is what my goal is every day. He tries, quote, Old Testament, to expand his boundaries. So I try every single day to expand my boundaries, and I try to be in the path of others that need me. Some way. Could it be business? Could it be church? Could it be community? Etc. Today we have a food drive we're going to be trying to get to over here. We have 5 churches in the community that all try to help people in the community get food for those that can't afford it. So so anyway, that hopefully that gives you some sense of goal setting for me. I like specifics, but I really like principles more.
Great. Awesome. And then lastly, if you could just go over your morning routine. So you wake up at what time, and what is the process that you follow on a daily basis?
So the exact specifics would be my alarm is set at 5:30. I usually wake up at 5:07, 5:10, something like that. I'm going to do my personal stuff that Stephen Covey basically said he did. Now, I want to spend 30 minutes a day studying doctrine. And so I try to spend half of that time in the morning and then half of that time in the evening. So I try to bookend the day. Just like this incredible book, I'm not sure, is your audience predominantly campus people, BYU?
Currently, yes, but I'm hoping that it will expand to be statewide.
So if you look at the beginning of the Book of Mormon and the end of Book of Mormon, we hear about the word tender mercies. We want to, so there's bookends to the book, and there's bookends to my day. My day, I try to start with the right frame of mind and end in the right frame of mind. Mm-hmm. And but let me just make sure that I come across really, really clear on this. I'm a flawed guy. I didn't have your upbringing. I had no education. I didn't have any interest in education. I wanted to shortcut everything. I was a tennis player. I just wanted it all when I first started thinking about money. I just wanted it to show up. Mm-hmm. But what I want to share with everybody is I didn't feel comfortable in my skin for 7 years of studying these kinds of books and principles, habits, and reference points. I had someone in my house today that's extremely successful, over the moon successful, and they were commenting about one of the professors at BYU, not Jim Ritchie, that made entrepreneurialism seem easy. It's anything but. It's anything but easy. It's like life. There's just nothing easy about it. Whether it's your kids, your family, your grandparent, relationships, life, business, they all are taxing. But in the end, we all know, like Solomon said in Ecclesiastes, 12, 13, I think the scripture is, after all this wealth, the wealthiest guy that ever lived, what does he say at the end of his life? In the end, none of it meant anything. 2 things: keep the commandments and fear God.
Awesome, Dan. I appreciate all of your comments today.
I hope it was helpful for somebody. I look forward to meeting some of your audience, and hopefully, if you get it done, we'll post it on my Facebook page and share it with some others as well.
Awesome. We'll get you on there. Appreciate it.
Too much fun. Look forward to sharing the journey, staying in touch, and hopefully we can do something again.
Okay, will do.
All right. Thank you.
Enjoyed that interview with Dan, and if you did, I ask that you can subscribe to the podcast, that you can continue downloading more of the episodes that I've done. I've had some great interviews so far, and today I was actually just reaching out to some more people, and we've got some great interviews coming up. I'm really excited about it, to learn from these people, to learn about their industries, their markets, also get some of their advice on goal setting and their routines, how they were able to achieve success in the way that they did. And some of these people as well are just very much in the process right now of building their businesses. It's not that they've already done it. And I try to get both of those so that we can get a good idea of what it's like while you're building it, and also just talking about it afterwards. So anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed. Love you all. Have a good one.